Welcome to Write with Love. I'm Sarah Williams, best-selling author, speaker, and creative entrepreneur. Each week I chat to passionate and inspiring authors about their journey in creative writing. Some are traditionally published, some do it themselves. Everyone's journey is different, and everyone has something interesting to say. We all love love and love what we do. Today's show is brought to you by our amazing fans and supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the show and get some awesome bonus episodes, go to patreon.com/SarahWilliamsAuthor to learn more. Now here's today's show. G'day, I'm Sarah Williams, romance author and independent publisher at Serenade Publishing. Today I'm chatting to romantic suspense author Casey Clipper. Thanks for joining me, Casey.
Hi, thanks for having me, Sarah.
No worries. So obviously we've got an American in today. So Casey, can you just tell us about yourself and your journey to publication?
Okay, sure. Thanks for having me again. My name is Casey Clipper, and I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You'll probably notice a little bit of an accent there. Pittsburgh accent that people talk about. I write contemporary romantic suspense. I have a slight obsession with penguins. Those people who follow me know that. I'm a member of the Contemporary Romance Writers of America, Romance Writers of America, Three Rivers Romance Writers. I think that's it, just a little bio background. I started publishing. I'm purely a self-published indie author. And I started, my journey takes place where I read a really hugely popular trilogy. And I got done reading the trilogy and I closed the book and I was like, I would have written that differently. I would have done that way different. I would have killed people off. I would have done all this stuff. So I sat down and I wrote my own series. And nowadays that would be called fan fiction. Somebody would call it fan fiction. And but I essentially wrote this 7 or 8 book series that I just threw myself into writing, and I continued doing it, writing it, and then I sat down. I was done with it. And it's never seen the light of day, and it will never see the light of day. It's so bad. But it was just my fun thing to do. What I would have done essentially with that, it was a paranormal romance, and it was just what I would have done, in my series. And I just took it totally off course. Is what I did. And then I went on to another book, and I went on to writing a contemporary romance. That, in actuality, it wasn't a romance. It would have been fiction, because the heroine in that one died. And then I wrote a little novella, which is actually that one I published. That's the very first book that I published, that's Scarred. And how I ended up doing that is I just did research online. I knew nothing about publishing. I knew nothing about what I was doing. And I researched online, and that's when I came across Amazon's platform and the create and publishing it in this novella called Scarred is what it is. And it's the very first thing that I published, and then I went on to my the bigger novels, The Boss's Love, which my love series actually is a spin-off from The Boss's Love, and that one I kill off the hero halfway through the book, and it's funny because it's just something that I do apparently, and I'm known for throwing wrenches into stories, so you just don't know what's going to come up. And I think that's why I'm drawn towards suspense. Like, I love doing that. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So what were you doing before you started writing? Were you in kind of a writing career, or is this a complete change for you?
This is a complete change for me. I, of course, love to read, as a teen. In fact, I'm the oldest of four girls, and I was the only one who read, and my mother actually encouraged that. I have to give her credit for that. She would buy me a book. If I wanted a book, she would buy me a book. And I remember having the Sweet Valley High series. That's what I grew up on, and just things like that, that and my mother actually was a huge romance novel, and it's funny because my mother passed away 9 years ago, but going back now, she loved the romance novels, and like, my dad had thrown away a bunch of romance novels, and now years later when I'm writing, I'm like, oh, I wish I had those back, like, because like, just, she absolutely, I think she would be totally proud of this and just be eating it up, but yeah, she's the one who helped, encourage my love for reading. But I never did anything with it. I never, you take a writing class in high school, and I did well with that. But it wasn't anything that, like, a bug that bit me back then. It wasn't until I just sat down and I, read that trilogy. And I'm like, I just would have done that differently. And I don't know what it was about that at the time that just threw me into, writing. I was a waitress for 13 years, in a fine dining restaurant. And then, I work as a secretary, even right now, full time in a secretary in an outpatient physical therapy office. So there's nothing really there that sort of crosses over, which is funny, that, like, I have this complete separate life that doesn't, really bleed into the other one. But, yeah, there's just nothing in my path that, except for the love of reading.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. And so everything you've learned through workshops and online courses and those sorts of things?
I've learned through workshops, through RWA. I've also learned a lot from editors. I've gone through the editor, carousel, where, you have the editor that made you cry. It's like, why did I pay to torture myself like this? Who just, like, rips you apart, and then you have the editor who's willing to teach you, and then you have the editor, and I've been lucky. Like, I've only gone through three. Like, I'm on my third editor that I absolutely love and I work well with, and she works well with my voice and encourages it, and she loves, like, my stories and all that stuff. So I've been lucky, where I know some authors have been, just gone through editor after editor because maybe they don't click or maybe something happened. But, in a sense where two of them have taught me, something, that maybe I didn't know, the difference between your writing in high school and writing romantic fiction. Like, there's a difference. There's a big difference, and so just, I've been lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of it, has come from workshops and, just taking those, the first few years.
Yeah.
And I actually found RWA. I was reading J.R. Ward's Black Tiger Brotherhood series. And I came across in one of she has a book out that is like this about that project series. And in the back of that book, it's sort of like a guide, but in the back of that book, it gives advice on writing, and one of the things it suggests is join the Romance Writers of America.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this Romance Writers of America? So I looked it up online, and said, oh, let me join this thing, and it's been, an adventure since.
Yeah.
So it was actually their award. I have to credit her novel because of her, for introducing me to the romance writers of America because I don't know if I would have come across it. I may have eventually, but it's been years since I've been a member. So,
Yeah. How long have you been a member for now?
I have been a member for about 6 or 7 years. I've been a member of the RWA. Yeah.
Excellent.
So yeah,
Oh, brilliant. And
so
you've gone to a few conferences.
I have,
Yeah.
yeah. And this year will be either my sixth or seventh conference. The first one I went to was in Atlanta. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh, and every year, and that's brilliant. I've also like with something, every year that's
Yeah.
on. I enjoyed last year where they changed up the conference. We did a lot to, turn it around and get everything right. Okay. I do. I have a good time every single year. I come away tired, but it's a good tired. Cram so much into those days, because you're there and you're like, I have to get my time money's worth, and so you cram as much as you can, but it's you walk away with so much, that I love it. I think it's worth it every
Yeah.
single year. So
So they fill
yeah,
it
but
in with.
people that you talk to online, like that's chill,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, brilliant. So they fill it in with workshops. I'm just thinking, I've been to the Romance Writers of Australia, and this year I'm going to the Romance Writers of New Zealand conference. So
okay.
that'll be really exciting. So I'm guessing it's kind of the same. So they have the workshops during the day, and you pick and choose which ones you want to go to.
Yeah, yeah, they have the workshops, and it's nice because they sort of label them, and I think last year they actually labeled them like where you are in your career stage.
Yeah.
So that might be like a beginner or an advanced or something like that is what they labeled them. So you had an idea of whether or not, okay, I need that, or no, I know I don't need to go to that one, and that helps you. And then they label them which ones are recorded and which ones aren't recorded. So naturally, you try and get to the ones that aren't recorded, because you can buy the recordings, and go back and listen to them. But yeah, they're during the day it's just loaded with workshops, and it used to be a spotlight, so they had publisher spotlight. So every so often, you would have for an hour Harlequin would speak for all their authors, and you could go in and get, some of their favorite authors all the time. And there's so everybody walks away or ships books back home to themselves, So and I always grab a ton of books, and I'm like, well, this one loves like a historical romance, so I'm gonna grab her a book, and and this friend likes this, and I'll grab her a book,
Christmas presents sorted.
So that's nice. To me, the evenings are like when they changed it up last year where they had the Rita Awards at the beginning of the conference, which people weren't sure how they were going to take that. But I frankly enjoyed it because I got to congratulate the winners, whenever they were. I remember seeing Courtney Braun down in the hotel lobby, and she was sort of standing there by herself waiting for somebody. And I took advantage and just walked up to her and I said, "Congratulations," because she won. And she was very nice and very gracious, and then I told her I was enjoying the change of the conference so far because she's on the board for the RWA National Board.
Yeah.
So I told her how I was enjoying it so far. So
yeah,
it's neat. Like I like it, and they're changing it up even again more this year than they did last year. So
yeah.
But yeah, they have the thing, parties and stuff in the evenings. Friday night last year was a huge party night where different chapters held their parties and award ceremonies. Um, and that stems from a lot of the online chapters where they will have their parties um, at the nationals. So, I know that Contemporary Romance Writers has their event every single year at nationals. So, a lot of them will have that. And Friday night was a big one where others had to pick and choose which ones they wanted to go to, So it's kind of like sad because they do have to pick and choose, but at the same time, Friday night's really the only night that could happen. So
yeah, of course, because the Romance Writers America, they finish on the Saturday, don't they? They don't run on a Sunday.
They do. They finish on Saturday, and what they started doing was the big literacy signing. They have it on Saturdays now.
Right.
They changed that up because it used to be on Wednesday night.
Oh, okay.
And now they changed it to Saturday, which I think is a great idea to try and you'll get more people there on a Saturday than a Wednesday night, and people who will come to an author event or author signing on a Saturday. Wednesday night, people have to work Thursday morning, so they might be reluctant to come out, and stand in line to get an autograph as opposed to a Saturday where, let's make a day of this, and that. And so that's what the conference ends with on Saturdays, the literacy signing. They have some workshops in the morning. I haven't attended those because they do the chapter leadership breakfast at the same time they're doing the workshop. So I did that, and then they do the literacy signing. So to end it.
And these are really big workshops or big conferences, aren't they? How many people roughly do you think are attending?
2,000. Yeah, they say 2,000 because this is what they sell every year. That's what they allot, 2,000.
Wow.
And so I know the New York conference is a big one.
Yeah.
That tends to sell out, but that's because that's where everybody is, all the publishers and agents and that in New York. So that's, you sort of have to jump on that and register for that ahead of time. But
excellent. And so New York is New York is next year, and I know I'm definitely planning on going to that one, and I know we've already started a Facebook group with about 30 girls from Australia. Like we're all going.
My good advice: make sure to jump on that.
That's it. Okay. Yes.
New York does sell out.
We must do that. Excellent. And are you finding? I'm an indie, independently published, and you are as well. Do you find that RWA is quite open and accepting of indie authors?
I find that you've got two, in my opinion, and from what I've come across, you have almost like two different RWAs within RWA.
Right.
You have those who are totally all in indie, or those who accept the indie, maybe they're hybrid, and they understand that indie authors, are, in a forefront of a lot of things, especially when you have the big authors like Barbara Friedley, who's a pioneer with the indie, her and Bella Andre, who are the pioneers of indie, publishing. And that's sort of hard to argue against their success, and what great novels they put out. But then within it, I think you have the old school who aren't willing to yet come around. And you don't hear too much of them voice.
Yeah.
But they're there.
Yeah.
Like you will hear them voiced, and I've come across it myself at the national conference. Which kind of shocks me, that you might have an author who, isn't quite up to speed on where the industry is, because that's sort of old school style thinking. If you're looking down your nose at indie publishing. And I've had that. I've sat next to an author inside a workshop where she actually wasn't even traditionally published yet, and I had my fifth book out, and I was making money, and she had a book sitting on an editor's desk or an agent's desk, but she couldn't get it, picked up yet. And I was sort of like, why why am I why am I feeling like shame right now? And I had to walk away from it. And I was so lucky because I was staying in a room with some authors who were fantastic. And I walked back up to the room and I was so upset about just this conversation with this woman. And all of them sort of surrounded me. They were like, ignore that, forget it, and that was probably 4 years ago, whenever that happened. But I think within RWA itself, clearly from the conference, there are a lot of indie workshops. Itself, you're seeing in the chapters a lot of self-publishing workshops. I know myself, I taught one just 2 months ago. I taught an online workshop about how to self-publish while you are cooking, cleaning, raising kids, going to work, doing everything else. How can you do it all? So it's very accepting in those manners, but you still have that little, and I have to say, I think that they're starting to come around. I think that they, at least I hope so. That's my hope, is that they.
Well, indie publishers definitely aren't going anywhere. We're here to stay. So.
Right. Yeah.
Excellent. Gosh, well, I'm really excited about RWA next year in New York. That sounds.
It is a lot of fun. I have to say that. You just don't know who you're going to bump into, at RWA. And that's the greatest thing, because you'll get onto an elevator. Like, I got into an elevator the one time. It was after the Read Awards the one year, and you're all rushing to the elevator to get back up to the room. And Nora Roberts gets on the elevator, and she's yelling at everybody, "Squeeze in! We can get more on here!" And I was like, "Okay, Nora's telling us to squeeze in. It's things like that. You just don't know who you're going to meet and who you're going to come across and who you're going to bump into or talk to, and that's kind of neat. I remember last year, I was down in the lobby and I was waiting for Amazon to deliver cases of water. We had ordered cases of water, and I'm sitting there talking to my roommate, and somebody had walked by and they introduced me to an author, and she's like, "Oh, Casey, this is so and so," and I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And here was the first time I met her, and she was winning the Stiletto Award. I was going to hand her the Stiletto Award for best published romantic suspense, I think, and 2 days later, and then overall winner. And I was like, "How nice to meet you," playing it cool. And she called me out on it. It was funny after the stiletto contest. She's like, "You never even gave up a hint." It's just neat things like that you just don't know. I remember one year fangirling over Lexi Blake. I watched on tour, and this was such a huge fan, and she was so nice, and I got my picture taken with her, and she was at the indie author signing event, and I walked away. I'll never forget, because I walked away, and it wasn't until days later. I remember I walked away without getting an autograph.
Oh,
no. I was girling like I lost all sense.
Oh my gosh. Well, Bella Andre is coming to New Zealand this year for the RWNZ conference, and there's a huge amount of Aussies who are going to New Zealand, because that's a flight away for us. And
Yeah.
we're all coming to see Bella, and I get to interview her, and I'm already fangirling. I'm so nervous. What am I going to ask her? I'm just going to be like, oh my God, you're awesome.
I sat in on her workshops. I usually go to her workshop whenever she's teaching at RWA the workshops. I will make sure to go to her workshops because I love it because she's honest. She'll tell you like it is, and she gives great advice when it comes to indie publishing. So she's phenomenal when it comes to like insight when it comes to that. So
oh, fantastic!
Yes, enjoy Bella.
I will. I'm very excited. Excellent. So let's go back to you. What are you working on at the moment?
Right now I am working on. I've got a bunch of different things I'm working on. I have to start my fourth book in my love series. Or not my love series. I'm sorry, the Men of Law series, which is my romantic suspense series about detectives. And each book is a standalone about a different detective in the group. But I've also worked on a spinoff of the third book in that series, and it's called a Vegas Night series, and it's about five brothers because I introduced these five brothers in book three. They're the brothers of the heroine in book three, and a lot of my fans are like, we'd love to read about these brothers. And I'm like, yeah, I knew you would. Like, it was a complete accident when I was writing it, and I wrote these brothers in because they come in to rescue her, from the trouble that she's in. And I was probably about 40,000 words into the novel, and I was like, oh no, my fans are going to want books on these. It never hit me that they're going to want novels on these men. And I'm like, sure enough, So in book one, I have to say I'm having fun with it. I am. And I'm actually bringing in like a couple characters from my love series, which is something I happen to love to do. I love to cross characters in my novels, and I have done that a couple times in the Men of Law series because I have brought in a character from The Boss's Love, which is my the novel where I kill off the hero. But because he's actually a mob boss, so like you've got the Men of Law detectives, and there needs to be a criminal in there somewhere, So I love to cross reference, characters like that, and I've done that often. I've done that in the Love series, in a Quinn Brothers story series. The Quinn Brothers is my novelette series, and it's about five brothers. And I have thrown a couple other characters, like one from the Men of Law series, one from the Love series, into that novel. Just little cameos, the thing. So, but I'm doing that, and then I'm working on a trilogy, and it's actually fan fiction, what I call fan fiction of Walking Dead, and it's straight contemporary romance, and I'm struggling with it, I have to say, because I'm not used to writing straight contemporary. I love the suspense. I love that whole thing, and I'm struggling writing just plain contemporary to the point where I'm like, I might go back and rework this entire thing for myself to make it easier.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I'm working on a few different things that I'm hoping to have out there next year. Is when I'm hoping to have out there. So I had planned on publishing this year, but life got in the way of things. So
as it does. So
that's
awesome. But your past books are up there, so if anyone watching is really interested now, and I know I certainly am, so we can find that. Are you wide or just with Kindle?
I am wide. Excellent. Yeah, I am wide with most of my books. I think the only ones that aren't wide, I think, are the Quinn brothers. I think they might be in the Kindle,
Unlimited.
what is it, Kindle Select, or what is it, Kindle
Unlimited.
whatever that is.
Yeah. No, that's all cool. Excellent. So where can we find you online?
You can find me at www.caseyflipper.com. Yeah, and I have up on my website there, I have, you can find all my novels up there. And then I also have little stories in there of characters, so you can keep on reading about them past the novels, maybe little scenes that are referenced. There's, I know for my one novel, Dangerous Love or Taken Love, it crosses, those two cross, but there's a mention of purchasing a motorcycle. And so what I write is that scene of a motorcycle being purchased, back between the characters and that whole drama thing that happened with that. But it's things like that I put up on little tidbits so you can keep up with the characters that you love. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, excellent. Well, thank you so much for the interview today, Casey. That was really fun.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Jump onto my website, sarahwilliamsauthor.com, and join my mailing list to receive a free preview of my books and lots of inspiration. If you like the show and want it to continue, you can become a sponsor for just a couple of dollars a month. Go to patreon.com/sarahwilliamsauthor to find out more. And remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a review of the podcast. I'll be back next week with another loved up episode. Bye.